What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the JuiceBox presented by LOCKCITY. Obviously, you got Whitey here today. Happy Wednesday. This is going to be a continuation of our Blast Rivals Fall 2025 picks. We got off to a little bit of a slow start today, which we'll get into in a second here. Overall, in terms of tournament structure, as y'all know, only 8 teams in this tournament. If we scroll down to results and what happened today, we did see Passion UA, hell of a comeback over the Mongols. They dropped the first map pretty badly and then came back and won the next 2. Falcons and Team Spirit, MongolZ and Falcons continued their dominance over Team Spirit as of recently. MongolZ has still not lost to this Team Spirit roster. They didn't even drop a map this time around. We unfortunately had the over 2.5 maps, but that went 2-0 for Falcons. Over in Group B, we saw FURIA take down Pain Gaming. It was not 2-0. I had FURIA minus 1.5 map spread, which was a little bit disappointing. And then Vitality and TYLOO, we laid off that one entirely. TYLOO almost got the job done there. Really impressive stuff on their side of things, especially after they dropped the first map 13-2. They then came back, won the second map, and they pushed the final map. They honestly should have won. They had a 5v2. Falcons needed a 2v5 retake on Inferno B site. Unlosable, you would think, for TYLOO in that position, but they managed to lose it. Inferno B site is where dreams go to die, and Vitality ended up winning that 13-11 in the final map there. Overall, in terms of results for today, obviously we had these 3 plays. 2 of them unfortunately missed here, but then we did hit the over 2.5 on MongolZ and Passion UA, a nice little plus money play. That gave us 2.1 units, but we dropped 4 units on the other 2, so use your math there. That's minus 1.9 units over the first day, unfortunately, but we're looking forward to picking this up here going forward. In terms of schedule for tomorrow, I'll just pull this down because it's probably easier than hopping over to HLTV. So we have our opening matches, and then obviously based on that, with it being a 6-team playoff bracket, we are now into already our elimination matches and winners matches. So the winners matches are going to determine who the top seeds are in each group. So the winner of Passion UA and Falcons will take one of these first place seeds, get a bye directly to the semifinals. And then obviously same on the other side with FURIA and Vitality. They will take Group B first place, get a bye to the semifinals, whoever wins that. The losers of those will obviously claim second place in the respective groups, and then we're on to our elimination matches. So in the elimination matches, if you lose, you're done. You're going home. MongolZ and Spirit, so this is going to be a hell of an elimination match. One of these teams is not going to make it into the playoffs here tomorrow. And then for Pain and TYLOO, same sort of story, except these teams were probably expected to be in this position. The loser of Pain and TYLOO will also be going home. So we got a couple plays on the board here already for tomorrow. Again, looking forward to clawing back and getting into the green here and the profit for this tournament, continue our streak of tournament profit here. So without further ado, let's hop on over to Thunderpick and see what we have on the board. For those of you that watch the videos regularly, you know that all of the odds that will be discussed in today's video will be on thunderpick.io, which is one of the top books in the world for esports betting. You can deposit on Thunderpick using crypto, credit card, Apple Pay, Visa Debit, or via their new gift card deposit, which allows you to purchase and deposit a Thunderpick gift card amount directly to your balance. And Thunderpick has lines for all of your favorite esports, including but not limited to CS2, League, Dota, Valorant, Overwatch, COD, Fortnite, Rocket League, and so much more. If you visit tinyurl.com/LockCityTP, you can get a 100% deposit match on your first deposit all the way up to $600 or whatever the equivalent is in your local currency. Any amount that you deposit up to $600 will get immediately matched by Thunderpick for you to be able to use for your esports picks. We've obviously been super profitable on CS2, but with that deposit bonus, you can always try your luck with some of your other favorites with that free money to play with. That's tinyurl.com/LockCityTP for a 100% deposit bonus at Thunderpick up to $600. All right, y'all. So we're going to have 3 plays here on the board for tomorrow. Obviously, we still have our Team Spirit tournament winner, which is almost definitely cooked, but that's going to be down here below. I still have my 1 unit 5 times on that one. But these 3 plays are what we're going to be targeting here for tomorrow. Let's see which one's first. We'll just take them from left to right. Fuck it. Okay, so the first one here is going to be TYLOO and Pain Gaming. I'm going over 2.5 total maps for this one. So let's hop on over to HLTV and TYLOO Pain. This one I think is going to be super close. My methodology kind of behind taking the over 2.5 is that I think Pain is probably going to pick into either Nuke or Inferno, but I'm banking on it being Nuke. TYLOO doesn't necessarily have the strongest Nuke in the world, although they've looked obviously good on it at times. But Inferno wouldn't surprise me. TYLOO looks pretty good on Inferno today. They pushed Vitality all the way to 24, so I think they could have success here against Pain. But I would expect Pain to win either of those two maps, especially after that downfall from TYLOO today. That's just got to be absolutely debilitating. So to turn around and then push another team to the brink on that is going to be difficult. If they're able to do so, then great. And then on the TYLOO side of things, I think they're going to take Overpass. Pain doesn't have a very good Overpass. If we look at teams that they've played recently, I think it's like FURIA, Fnatic. Let's see who the third one is. I actually don't remember. FURIA, Fnatic, and Gamer Legion. So they beat Gamer Legion, they lost to Fnatic, they lost to FURIA. I remember those two losses. So I think they're going to have a little bit of a troubling time here on Overpass. I expect TYLOO to take Overpass, win Overpass, and then Pain. It's going to be tricky because TYLOO has, like I said, hasn't looked bad on Inferno and Nuke, but I do think Pain could win either of those two maps. So I'm going to be going with the over 2.5 here. Line on this one is 1.85 times your money. We're just going to go 1 unit on this one. So we're going 1 unit, 2 units. The first one here, just going to be 1 unit. Don't feel super great about it. This is a pretty sketchy tournament as we saw through day one. So we're going to downsize on these couple of single bets. I wanted to still put out bets for them, but I don't feel as good about them as I do with this last one that we'll get to in a second. So this first one here, just going to be 1 unit, 1.85 times your money. Obviously going to pay just shy of 1.85 units. The next one that we'll talk about here is going to be Passion UA and Falcons. So let's hop over and boot that up. This one here, I could see it being closer than I think a lot of people are probably anticipating. This actually surprises me for public consensus, but I would imagine that the majority of these people in the 41% are probably either just trolling or North American former Complexity fans or Passion UA fans, if any of those exist. But scrolling down here and kind of looking at maps, I think that the ones that stick out to me would be Train. Overpass, we're obviously going to see banned. Maybe like Inferno. But I doubt it. I think Falcons would probably beat them on Inferno. This one's definitely a flyer. If you're going to leave one off for tomorrow, make sure it's this one. Passion UA on the money line is like 7 times your money. I don't think they win. Obviously, if we look at recent performance, Complexity beat Falcons, but this Falcons roster here, this had Dexter, this had Magix, this didn't have QSK, it didn't have Monacy in there yet. So not really relevant, but Complexity did win that matchup. If we're looking at, again, what I think they could be successful on, I'm going to say Train and Inferno would probably be the only two. I think Falcons wins pretty much anything else. But again, we're just going to go 1 unit on this one. I, again, think it's probably pretty shaky, but Passion UA plus 1.5 map spread. They have to win at least a map. We're getting really funky odds on this one. 2.7 times your money for them to just win a map. So obviously, it's not even a 50-50, way less than a 50% chance that this happens. But if it happens, we're going to get 1.7 units off of it. 1 unit is going to pay 2.7 or just shy of 2.7. And then the last one here, this one's very sensible. This is going to be our 2 unit play here and kind of the one that we're banking most of our profit off of. If we hit this and both of these for whatever reason were to miss, then we're still going to be break even or $3 above break even on the day. But what we're going to go with here is going to be MongolZ plus 1.5 map spread against Spirit and FURIA, plus 1.5 map spread against Vitality. So we'll quickly slide over to these two. Spirit's actually on the top. I don't know why I paired them. Aside from the fact that those are my 2 favorite ones, it sucks that we're going to have to watch the first one and then wait 7 hours for the next one. So I apologize for that. But nonetheless, I could see MongolZ winning this straight up. That would be absolutely horrible for my Spirit boys. It's going to kill my future on Spirit winning the tournament. But nonetheless, it's definitely a real possibility. Scrolling down here, 43% public consensus on MongolZ. I do think that's justified and maybe even a little bit short of what it should be. I could see that upwards of like maybe 50% in terms of actuality. But obviously MongolZ has looked shaky. Spirit has looked super shaky. I imagine that MongolZ is going to pick into Nuke here. Spirit has not looked good on Nuke whatsoever. The rotations have been horrible. Everything about their Nuke has been horrible. Their T sides worse than their CT sides. But I do expect MongolZ to pick into Nuke to exploit that and to win Nuke. So it's going to be basically as simple as that. Obviously Spirit, we're going to see in terms of bans along the way here, we're going to see Train banned, we're going to see Inferno banned. So in terms of the 5 that are remaining, Nuke is the sensible pick. Nuke is what I expect MongolZ to take here, and Nuke is what I expect MongolZ to win here. And the second one's going to be FURIA plus 1.5 against Vitality. Obviously, we saw these teams face off, 4 days ago at the end of IEM Chengdu. And wow, where did my head-to-head go? That just tweaked out. And here we go. So they beat Vitality 3-0 in the best of 5. As you all know, we bet on that. All three very, very close. I expect the same sort of thing today. Vitality, if they're dropping maps to TYLOO, they barely squeaked past TYLOO. I trust FURIA a lot more. I know this was sketchier than what we would have thought this morning against Pain. It went 2-1, but it's a Battle of Brazil. Battles of Brazil are always very sketchy and very close. It doesn't matter the ranks of the teams in the overall world ranking. Those are always going to be tight matchups. I did think FURIA would win both maps. I thought we were going to get like a 13-10, 13-11 sort of scoreline, but it wasn't the case. FURIA did drop the ball there to Pain on one map, but I do think they can beat Vitality at least on a map. But we saw that they beat them on 3 maps, again, not even 4 days ago. So coming into this one, Mirage sticks out, Nuke sticks out, Train sticks out, Overpass sticks out. They're probably going to pick Overpass or Train. Doesn't really matter. What did they pick first last time here? Oh, I forgot about that. They went with Ancient, which Vitality never plays, but they were still able to win both Overpass and Inferno as well. I could see them picking into Train here. I think Train wouldn't be a bad idea. But Overpass, if we see Overpass again, sure. Regardless, FURIA is not going down 2-0 here. I would expect them to win, obviously, at least a map. So that's going to be our 2-unit play. MongolZ plus 1.5, FURIA plus 1.5. 2 units is going to pay 4.03 units. And those are going to be the 3 I'm rocking with tomorrow. If you like the plays, let me know in the comments. If you hate the plays, let me know in the comments. And then from there, if you're not in the Discord down below, obviously discord.gg/LockCITY, 100% free. Come cash out with us. We're talking in there all day long about CS. We have a nice CS2 chat. We post the CS2 cheat sheet, which again is probably just going to be these 4 plays. I don't see myself switching that up, but tons of different CS content in there as well. And then if you like the content here, make sure to like the video. If you're listening on YouTube, subscribe. If you're listening on Twitter, follow us, and I'll see y'all back here tomorrow with some more CS. Peace.